A very warm welcome to this session of Keynote Address. We have with us today Mr. Aditya Berlia, co-founder and pro-chancellor, APJ University, Gurugram. I welcome you, sir, to the virtual dais. And
Pooja,
you can
it's great to be here.
I present to you the virtual dais now, and you can present your PPT. And then we can take it forward, sir.
Excellent. If you can give me 1 second. I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, it's clear.
Excellent. Very good afternoon, everybody. And I'm absolutely delighted to speak on something that is very, very close to my heart. The future of the smart campus. I know our focus today is on virtual desktop environments, and I'm going to come to that in the middle part of my presentation. There's a lot of content, so I'm going to go through this fairly quickly and try to make sure that I stay within the time that Elets has so wonderfully given to me. I want to talk about a little bit about our journey. So APJ Education, we run, I think now about 15 schools, 16 colleges, and of course the Apeejay Stya and the Apeejay Stya University. And in 2021, we have evolved to learn what works and is effective. And I'm going to keep coming back to what works and is effective again and again. So in the 1990s, we taught programming classes to every kid. So everyone who's a graduate from APJ Education at some point learned how to program. We had a computer in every classroom by 2001, which was very early for India. And in 2004, we went full back-end virtualization. So our virtualization journey actually started somewhere in 2003, 2004. And in 2008, we went 100% in the cloud. And what does 100% in the cloud mean is that you could come to any of our schools, colleges, campuses, pick up all the servers, all the desktops, and there'd be nothing there. We were fully virtualized. And since 2008 to 2021, we have been really focused on expanding critical learning technologies. And just to share with you, what was the outcome of this? Within 2 days of the lockdown, all of our classes were completely back online. We resumed our full timetables and all of our exams. And this could only be possible due to the extensive investments we had made in backend technologies, virtualization, and of course, bringing our teachers and staff to the table as true stakeholders through this process. So I wanted to start by first saying, what does smart classrooms mean? Just as smart cities, smart classrooms, smart anything, often, quite frankly, smart is whatever the technology vendor in front of you is trying to sell. And this could be, if you have a networking company, smart means everything is connected through Wi-Fi and LAN cables and gigabit Ethernet. If there's a sensor company, smart means everything has RFIDs and sensors. If it's an ERP company, everything is connected by ERP. And so over time, I think it's very important for individual institutions as well as our entire country to really start to convalesce and understand what does smart actually mean and what does smart mean for the classroom. So I want to start with some very basics. This is the basics of any modern campus: high-speed internet with campus Wi-Fi, some sort of centralized learning management system, some sort of centralized student management system, library and learning resource management software, and some sort of ERP, financials plus. This is now the minimum standard for any college campus in the world today, large or small. And I can now, safely say that this is no longer smart. 20 years ago, you might say, oh, this is a smart campus because of these basic facilities, but this is now the basics. Smart, therefore, as a definition, could be theoretically anything more than this. And I think the anything more than this is where educators need to focus on to understand what makes a big difference in the lives of their students and in the classroom experience. I'm going to walk through a couple of very interesting things that are happening. First, consumer apps are pushing up expectations. Why can't my college bookstore have an Amazon-style mobile app? Why do I have to fill out a form or have to go in person to buy? Why can't my LMS give me a Netflix-type slick interface with all my class videos and assignments? And so what we are seeing in the last 5 years is that both students and parents have a higher expectation on not just utility, feature one, feature two, feature three, but on form. And they are being trained by companies who are spending billions of dollars on user interfaces to expect the same thing from their schools, their colleges, and their local campuses. Interoperability is still a major issue in India. I think most vendors still do not support clean and easy integration of their tools into now a campus standard infrastructure. It's been 2 decades of campuses and institutions investing in technology. Each one has a mix of things that they've tried, things that have failed, legacy infrastructure, latest generation infrastructure. And technology vendors, when they come in, they really need to come in and say that, look, we will play well with everything. You don't need to have the latest, greatest, or, oh, you have to uninstall everything else and only use our system. I think that is still a big problem. Standard learning packages such as XAPI or SCORM still find very limited adoption in Indian proprietary software and infrastructure. In fact, you ask most technology vendors and companies, do you support XAPI? Their answer will be, what's that? And the big problem this creates for campuses, getting a fully 360-degree insight into data is extremely difficult. And this needs to change incredibly, not incrementally anymore, but for the sector to now grow, because you can't get more and more systems into an existing campus unless everything works. I want to spend a second on the problem of glamour. Parents and stakeholders are impressed more with highly visible but not marginally affected smart aspects, like smart boards that every school and college had to throw into their classrooms 15 years ago when teachers still hadn't really figured out how to use them. And this is also now creating trouble with new technologies such as AR and VR, when we haven't been able to find a wide adoption with proven learning enhancements beyond a few applications. There are a few, by the way, and I think in certain simulated environments, these work really well, but right now they are still more a shiny tool to show off now. And I think there still needs to be a huge heavy lifting to be done to make some of these glamorous tools more effective in the classroom and in campus. And parents and students need to be educated on what works, not what looks good. And I think this is a big problem, is that particularly in the private sphere, colleges and schools end up investing in what parents want, not what their kids really need. Cost is a huge barrier. It's difficult to bring in world-class technology on Indian level fees. If you look at the recent Big Mac index, the rupee is undervalued by 54%, 33.56, which basically means that our ability to buy technology, which is often priced in dollars because India imports everything for the most part, doesn't match with the salaries and the payments that we are getting. And there's a huge opportunity here for economies of scale to be achieved and standardization that will make this technology a lot more cost effective. And I think governments play a big role here. And often, to be very honest, is regulatory is what keeps technology behind. The big questions I ask, should the MBA be 1 year or 2? Well, why not 1.5? Why not 1.2? How long is the average PhD? Every country has a different answer. Every person you talk to, every field has a different answer. Why do we have semesters or quarters? Why can't we have 15 days or months or fortnights? And the reality is many of these are legacy inheritances from hundreds of years ago. What I liked about COVID-19, it has forced regulators to rethink the construct of an institution and how it can really deliver what it promises to, not just in all the blended high-tech stuff, but also in more marginally pulling out the learning experience from an academic credit perspective. And often the biggest problem that we run into is that technology in search for a problem. Most technology offerings start with, ooh, how can I apply this beautiful technology to education, versus really saying, ooh, this is a real education issue and challenge, and how do I solve it? Oh, wait, there is a solution in technology. And so if you start off with saying that, oh, this is cool technology, how do I throw it at education? You often go to a college and an institution and say, that's nice, but how does it help a problem that I'm having today? So, this is a conference on desktop virtualization. It's something that I've been working on since I think 2001, 2002. In fact, during my freshman year at Stanford, I wrote a long paper on when this would happen, and I was shocked. It took 10 years longer than I thought it would happen. I thought, we had gone into the cloud in 2008. It was the most obvious thing to do. I thought most people would have joined us, but I think now we are finally seeing some of it, and I'll explain to you why it's taken a bit so long. But basically, few very, very simple things. It moves the heavy lifting of technology to the back end where it is safer, better, and easier to manage. You get an actual full application of policy and security. You're not worried about edge cases. And you can use the SEM endpoint for multiple technologies and applications. When a student logs in, somebody needs a high-end workstation, somebody just needs a simple word processor system, somebody needs a specialized software like MATLAB. You don't have to have them all installed and ready. You can push the exact desktop that they need. Centralized data and application to the interoperability problem are easier to connect, log, and create a fully integrated set because you have data in the same place at least, even if not working together, but it's far easier than having a data pushed to the edge. And you're able to create custom sandboxes and refreshes for ease of use, deployment, and security, which means that you can launch a new desktop environment per case, and it doesn't get cluttered up with what's happened. And students tend to clutter up a lot of things because they love to play around, which is something that we really, really push our scholars to do. And you can deliver extraordinary computing power only when it is needed on demand. I mean, we spun up something like 160 database servers at the back end during heavy exam load times because they really need to crunch the numbers live. And we couldn't do that if we weren't fully centralized. It creates a level playing field for web versus desktop application, particularly if you have extraordinary, well-integrated legacy applications that you need to bring into a modern platform. It brings down the cost of licenses by pushing concurrency. You don't need a license installed in every single a laptop or institution, and it allows for cheap endpoint scale. And this is great because you can put a lot of very cheap laptops and desktops, and you don't really have to worry about their configuration because you're going to be delivering that experience from the back end. And of course, consistency of user experience and secure access from anywhere, work from home, travel, emergencies. One of the reasons why we were able to send everybody home during the lockdown, because all our core people, finances, backend had full access to everything in their homes. They were able to log in using a secure platform and have access to all the core applications they needed same day. We didn't have to, find a way to suddenly now get them access. With work from home, with travel, with emergencies happening more and more, this is becoming an incredible use case. And of course, fine-grained control on data and keep backups. And as we're looking at new privacy laws coming in, as you're worried about ransomware attacks, all of us have faced these challenges. We, in fact, had a major ransomware attack in maybe about 15 days ago. Thanks to our IT team, thanks to centralization, thanks to backup, we were only down for about 6 hours before they were able to get all the infrastructure back online. The challenge, to be honest, which we still face, we faced it when we did this in 2008. Despite all the changes, we still face it in 2021, is bandwidth and latency. And this is something that as we get a lot more data centers come into India, a lot more edge locations come up. I know all the cloud computing providers are doing a great job in really pushing this agenda down. But I think there's a lot more that can be done. We do have to get to at least 155 Mbps 1:1 standard before virtual desktops become a easy thing to do beyond business and productivity applications. Other countries such as South Korea achieved that years ago. And I think it's time in the next 5 to 10 years, if we have a better telecom policy, if we have a stronger government and private connect on this, this will become incredibly possible. And it's a much needed thing that we need to get done. A few quick slides on key learnings during COVID. Technology, of course, doesn't solve anything. It amplifies both the good and bad. This is something you learn very quickly. There is a generational shift happening in comfort with technology, and that generational shift happened. It's happening both in terms of at the faculty level and at the student level, and this really excites me. Blended classrooms and virtual classrooms only work when you change the pedagogy and curriculum. This is something we found out very early on, And I'm extraordinarily impressed with the way our faculty were able to adjust the curriculum live to change the way, because you are changing the way education is being delivered, it opens up a lot of opportunities. The first low-hanging fruit for us was data and feedback. Critical areas, massive gains can be made. The ability to conduct instant quizzes, instant polls, instant presentation, breakout rooms, and give all that feedback. You save a huge amount of time. It's almost a 30-40% time refund that you get. But still big critical issues which we could not quite go around. Home environment matters when it comes to technology. Do students have a free space to study quietly? Is a laptop computer available and dedicatedly available? Often the answer was no. And I think this is one of the big challenges that India will face. Our homes, our societies, our connections are not designed to be doing a blended mode of learning. And do faculty have a similar space in their home? Do they need dedicated rooms and resources elsewhere? And this is something that we've explored, is basically coming up with these Zoom suites, as we call them, where faculty members can conduct these classes, but it's not a waste of space. They're very comfortable, and they're able to get their key learnings done in a predictable, systematic manner. They're not just sitting with a cell phone in one hand and a laptop and all and trying to figure it out on the fly. I think we're all moving beyond that. And some of the largest challenges today are not academics or learning, but environment and regulatory management. Can smart play a larger role in this? I think 70 to 80% of time of most administrators are now spent dealing with government issues and local issues and this, and have nothing to do with actually teaching in the classroom. And at some point, there are unique opportunities here which can be solved. Again, cost of technology is very high. We can't afford dedicated data scientists, for example. The real ones, really good ones, are paid millions of dollars. It's expensive. But we do think that and we felt that as we went down in our cloud journey, the technology cost curve, democratization of tech is happening faster. Like I said, I could never imagine 10 years ago being able to fire up 150 large database servers to manage a full exam load. We would have had to stagger the exams. It was the cost, the time, the effort, the management was seamless. You could not have done that even 3 years ago. And the one big thing we learned, saving up your data is cheap, easy, and important. Even if you have no use for it today, save the data. When the democratization happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will be able to access the data and then use it for very, very valuable insights. AI, MI is showing up. We are doing lots of experiments, but it'll only work if you've preserved your data in a structured and useful manner. And governments can play an important role. I won't harp on this point, but I'm seeing so many countries like the UAE who did a fantastic job in supporting schools, education, colleges, public, private, it didn't matter. They were there. And I wonder how much more can be done if governments across the world, including in India, can really say, look, we are going to act as a true partner and not as just a regulator. I think the NEP changes that. Last slide, the important trends and challenges. NEP will dramatically change how education is conducted and delivered for the betterment of all. We fully support this. We have been pushing for the NEP for almost 3 decades. We love that it's here, and it's really going to allow us to do a lot of the really innovative work. All the stuff around credits, choice courses, streams, we have already done since 2010. Now our conversations with regulators are a lot more positive on this. Back-end systems to smoothen process and analytics will be essential to NEP success. And this is where our investments have been in the last 5 years. How do you create extremely modular systems to drive a huge option load for students? Massive numbers of colleges will shut down. NEP clearly states that they want to do that. It's sad, but it's needed. But it also means the rest of us have to step up. We have to make sure that the community stays strong, and technology will play a large role in this merger and integrations that will happen in the next 5 years. But post-COVID-19, faculty are going to dramatically increase their use of technology in the learning process. Many of them had a very sharp learning curve during COVID, and I love to see how confident they are now. It's amazing to see the same professor, even if they were 60 plus years old, struggle with technology pre-COVID-19, and now they're so used to it. I think this massive and crazy experiment, the silver lining, is going to help us for the next 5 to 10 years, really do what I thought would take us 10 years longer, we were able to do within 1 year. And large number of online startups will not succeed easily. I want to make this very clear. India is still very slow in people taking responsible for their personal learning journeys. And I think this is where structured learning and institutions and technology plays a large role in supporting this. And the demand from students' parents for deeper engagement using easier technology tools is only going to go up. This, I think, is going to be the big push. How do you do it in a cost-effective manner that actually brings up learning and not just as a fancy new tool? I think that's the critical challenge. I'm going to stop there. Please do find me on LinkedIn. Would love to connect, get ideas, see what people are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the session. And I'm sure that digital learning is the future right now, especially after COVID, that we have imbibed along this process. So thank you so much, sir. We would like to present a certificate to you for gracing the occasion. And thank you for joining with us.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love that you guys are doing these events. Always a pleasure to be here. And good luck with the rest of the sessions.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the future. You're gonna wanna get ready. You're gonna wanna get ready. You're gonna wanna get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Here we are making history. Higher than we've ever been. You're gonna wanna get ready. Get ready, get ready. Welcome to the future.
Transition your business to virtual workspaces to enable a more productive experience for your cloud users with Wise Thin Clients from Dell. With Wise Thin Clients, you can improve security and alleviate the day-to-day management tasks of your IT administrators. Our portfolio provides multiple form factor options, as well as smarter, faster end-user experiences with instant-on access to traditional VDI, cloud-hosted virtual desktops or apps, and cloud services. With Wise Management Suite, the industry's first hybrid cloud management solution, with floating license allocation between on-premises and cloud, you can scale from 1 to hundreds of thousands of thin clients as your business expands. Protect your organization with Dell-exclusive Wise Thin OS, the most secure thin client operating system, or experience secure access from Wise Thin Linux and Windows 10 IoT Enterprise with Dell added security features. See the big benefits of Wise Thin Clients at DellEMC.com/wise.